not the male. Only thing a man can do is skeet, 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 and get on down the road and hope that his baby was his baby. But it's that lady who has the power to keep regenerating. She decides she ain't having babies and she gonna start having all abortions around the world like they convinced all the black women to do. You can understand how devastating that can be. So this type of stuff right here is not gonna be something that go unaddressed when I see it and when I read it. All right, now let me go ahead with this. It says all duplicates, replicas, counterparts, and copies are of a weaker degree than their originals. Original man was made in the image and the likeness of God, but in a form weaker than God. The woman was made from this already weakened state. How could she be the strength of God when strength does not come from weak sources? Okay, first of all, the strength of God comes from sunlight. If everybody knows that, we can understand the power of the regenerative capabilities of all thoughts of anybody's mind. If you know for a fact that looking to the sun is the best source of information available, you don't even need books. How do you think books got written? You know what I'm saying? The true knowledge of the earth is the knowledge that is so subtle it can make trees grow around us, and we in our foolishness don't even identify the fact that the trees are getting knowledge from the sunlight to do their thing. Sunlight is telling them how to live in harmony with each other, and they doing that. Everything's sustaining each other without being detrimental to each other. But now we reading books that's giving us false leadings, and we're not getting information from the sunlight, so we have a world saturated with war. And the people that's the warmongers, Obama, and all the European nations that want to steal this country, not even steal it, they want to murder all of the people that live here, put you in concentration camps. See, it brings you back to the fooling of the mind when you make the woman think she's not anything. When the woman mind be contributed to decadence, where she don't mind smoking cigarettes and having sex with one man after another because you done taught her to be that way and taught her that that's totally acceptable, you would have a society that goes down the same path of destruction that that woman goes down, because this is what she teaches her daughters. And her son won't have respect for the women because they don't see their mother doing anything that they should respect in women. So this is what they purposely set up to lead us down the path of decadence. But the way that that get fixed is that you come in with true knowledge and you break it down to no, see, that's not what the woman is. The woman is the beginning and the end of everything. When they say I'm the Alpha and the Omega, they're talking about the regenerative cycle of the woman's uterus. Okay, because that's just the real truth. Even when you die, the earth opens up and recycle you, and that's on the feminine aspect of another phallus being inside of going inside of a vagina. That's why the coffins look just like this. Okay, real simple. All right, this is when you have the perpendicular. That's when your ass is dead. Those are both polarities of life, positive and negative, both of them. That every person on earth will rehearse and interact this shit over and over again. Every day you get up and walk around, then at night your ass lay down and go to sleep. It's a universal principle. It's man and woman. This is right here, laying flat, is the horizontal polarity for water, and that one is fire. Both of those together create steam, which is creation of energy, which is movement. That's how that works. And steam is a form of matter also, because now where it's matter anyway, but you got to understand the molecules change to create another form of matter, but now it's need to be inside a container. And that's what the case is with us, why we have to be encapsulated inside of these aggregates, because we're like steam of the sunlight. And if we did not have these containers, we would just dissipate into smallness and smallness and smallness and smallness into the infinity, and then we eventually be absorbed back into the sun. That's what your purpose is here on earth, to find your way back to your true God essence. That's what your whole purpose is for being here on earth. And you need to start understanding that right away, because it's not to get an SUV, it ain't to get Janet in the back seat, fuck them stupid ass Air Jordans, all that dumb stuff that we all tie down, they got envy and hatred on the earth. It's all that stuff is going to have to be pushed out the door, and everybody's going to have to get some books and read them and try to find fault in books. That's what you have to do, because that's what puts you on your quest of self-knowledge. You want to go out and find out that everybody who think you're supposed to be treated like shit is stupid, and you're going to prove that they wrong, and you're going to prove to yourself that they wrong, because you know yourself that you shouldn't be walking around feeling depressed and less than other people on earth just because everybody that you see on the street want to make you feel that way. Somewhere inside of you, you're supposed to say, fuck them. I'm going to, you know what? They not going to freaking push me around, all right, and victimize me. I'm going to victimize their ass. As soon as they try to do that bullshit, I'm going to do it right back to their ass. And then all the money and everything that people have to influence you with, it doesn't matter anymore. And that's the only way this can keep pushed around, because people with influence can use that influence to perpetuate bad dogma and bad teachings. And these bad teachings could lead up to large cults and sectors of religious propaganda that become nations of people who hide behind pretenses of freedom and democracy. And at the same time, you see them stacking vehicles of oppression everywhere and writing UN on them. And you don't see and recognize the UN as nothing but a symbol of Nazism, Zionism, murder, theft, all that. Just think about it. All the American citizens with all the homes, with everything that's inside them that's been built up and fixed up by these women that's inside of them. These soldiers come in your house and steal everything. Your gold, Rolex, your guns, all that. So it'd be straight out chaos, but it won't, because they'll just roll up into your city, 15, 20, you know what I'm saying, guys jump out on your block with a tank and a 45 and an assault rifle. And even though you got all those things in your house, you got your wife and your children in there with you too. And you really know that you don't really want to believe that they could be that brutal and actually go to war with you and do all that, but they will. And when you hesitate and think like that, that's when you're going to see your children being loaded in the Humvees and taken away to whatever fate of evil, torturous shit they got in mind. That's what happened to us black people. You white people did that to us. So don't think that it can't happen. It did. They came to Africa with cannons on ships and pointed the ships at our villages and shot shrapnel, destroyed our whole civilizations. And then came through later with barbarism and raped all the women. By the time the women made it to the boats, they had been raped and you name it, you know, all type of horrible stuff. And then thrown into the freaking slave dungeons of Ghana, where they waited there until all the ships had enough cargo to be full. Then they filled the ship up and it set sail for wherever it went. But the thing about it is not even trying to attack white people for doing that to black people. It's just, what I'm getting at is that this foolishness that has gone on this earth all this time is because of people making the point and putting the effort out to make one person be ostracized. And that's what that was. That was a straight ostracizing of the source that whence we all come from. And that's what I was sent to this planet to destroy. You got to get rid of propaganda like that, because it's all bad propaganda and it leads to decadence. The most important thing on this earth is that which manifestations begin at. So how are you going to tell a woman that she's weaker than the man when the man can't exist unless a woman is strong enough to carry his ass around in her stomach for 9 months, and he kicking her and everything, causing gas for her to make her stomach, she's so uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? All the shit that she have to go through and endure to prove herself as having someone to sit around and tell her thank you and having some respect. Instead of doing that to all the women, you treat them like they shit and make them feel that all that process I just described to you is something that is just, well, it was meant to be. They have children because God, which is a man, but he doesn't have a mom because we never tell you about the goddess. So obviously he just, you know, came out of nowhere because we hid the truth and drew a picture of his ass and gave it to you. So yes, he just came out of nowhere because we tell you Mary is Jesus' mom, but we don't show you that Mary or Joseph or anyone else have a heavenly father, because there's no heavenly father talked about until we talk about Jesus and come up with a need for Jehovah. Because before that, we were people that were in the desert, and our God just took care of us. And it wasn't for one specific person. It was for the betterment of everyone. But then we needed Jesus. And Jesus came, and that God went away. And then Jesus became the overall, that which encompasses all. And so, just by saying that he was a vagina that encompasses all, he became the vagina. And it's kind of faggoty, yes, because you see, I'll explain it to you. When you see a pyramid like this phallus that a star sits on, and as you can see there at the top of his head is shaped like a penis, if you can see, and also it's the same on his little sun head, if you can see. Well, if you notice, this is round like a female's vagina, or like the sun. You see, this could go into there. Do you understand? And what would happen is that would generate the family of 3. And then also, even if we removed her and him, you would still have a star, like the obelisk remaining in the whole layout, with the obelisk being the dick, and the whole, that which encompasses all, being the state of Heteru that we know as the universe, and the obelisk, Osiris phallus, that the Vatican stole, is constantly sticking it to the universe, constantly pumping out trees and bees and fish and new life. But God, me, Jesus, I get guns, airplanes, tanks, you name it, men, women, computers, and I kill all that, and I steal the phallus and claim it for my God greatness. But wait, I don't put the universe over the phallus and keep it normal and natural. No, what I do is I put Jesus on top of it, on a nasty, dirty, bloody cross, pretty gory. And see, now the phallus, it's not screwing the universe anymore. It's in Jesus's rectum. And that's why he had his little sexy dress on with no panties. So I know I'm pissing a lot of people off, but I'm just telling you guys why we destroy the woman and uplift the man, because we can throw your equilibrium off and crank you by Coca-Cola and crack. So see, you need to listen to Asar, because he's trying to fix your planet, and he's qualified, see, because there's billions of people that live in all the realms of the abyss, if you will, and out of all those people, you got Asar, who some people call Quetzalcoatl, some people call him the Christ. He calls himself Asar. I think he should know. But he do knows those other names too. But the name he likes is Asar, because he came with the Saras. And that's why sometimes he calls himself As